Yes.
How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So our first question today is how did you get started with your like what made you want to start this?
Back in 2017, my husband and I said we need to come up with some way to get into the entrepreneurial world. I had a desire for popcorn that was out of this world. Love popcorn. Had been around and seen some other popcorn companies in the area and decided, hey, I'm going to try it. So we had enough funds, sold our house, and I'm not crazy. We sold our house, we had funds left over, my husband said, let's jump into it. And that's what we did. We found someone who was interested or who had a popcorn for us, and we rolled in and got some ideas and tips from him, and that's how we got started.
What was the hardest part about starting your business?
Not knowing was the hardest part. Not knowing if the business would take off or would fail. Not knowing the logistics behind a business. We've never had a business before. My husband has a nonprofit, but that's a little bit different. So we were worried that we were going to fail, but it was kind of like walking blind and not knowing, only going off of what other people were telling us about the business.
Did you have any gut feeling?
Yeah, gut feeling that said, you're nuts. I had a gut feeling of excitement. I was excited to be able to start, but at the same time, I was worried. What if I fail? That was my biggest concern. What if I fail?
What order did you file your business paperwork?
So business paperwork for us is a little bit different. You hear other companies, restaurants, and different things like that that have to file different paperwork in order for them to get open. With us, we're registered through Department of Agriculture. Because we're only popcorn and we don't have any major food items, we had to go through Department of Agriculture to register our company. So we registered our business. But on the other side of that, we went through like the North Carolina Treasury, the Department of Revenue, because we knew one day we wanted to have employees. So we had to go through Department of Revenue, make sure everybody had their tax papers and information done. There are a lot of helpful hints online through Department of Revenue that will tell you exactly what paperwork you need to file to make sure that taxes are done correctly and that everybody's supposed to be where they are.
While doing that, did you have to put in any money or?
Just the money that we sold the house from. Like we didn't take out a loan. That was one of my husband's biggest things where we're not going to get into debt trying to start. So we saved money. We saved a lot of money. And then the move to sell our house was just an add-on. And then to take that and turn it into a business was remarkable, I say, because we didn't know how much money we were going to need or if we were about to blow all of our savings. But we just stepped out on faith and it worked.
Do you currently have a full-time job?
Yes.
And how do you manage having a business and working a full-time job?
So my full-time job, I'm a professor at Shaw University, Department of Social Work. Go Bears. And yeah, so that job is flexible, but it doesn't pull me like some of the other jobs that I had in the past. I'm not working on call and I'm not involved in other people's lives like 24/7. So it makes it a little bit easier to be able to. And then my husband and I decided that we would just go ahead and get employees to work for us. So we have hours here that are sufficient to be able to run a business. We also have people here to help us out to keep the business going while we're at work.
Do you receive, or did you, when you started the business, did you receive any financial assistance from any like family members or any outside help?
It's been my husband the majority of the time, but my parents have been an amazing support. My mom and dad, I remember like before we got into this building, we were in a, I guess you call it a flex space, and we were only doing shipping and deliveries of popcorn for a whole year. And when the money got low and rent was still due, I could always, know that my mom was going to buy just enough popcorn, even if she doesn't need it. She's going to buy just enough popcorn that we can get paid. And she did. It never failed every single time. And my dad has always been a major support. How can I help you pay for this? Or how can I do this for you? My family, just by spreading the word of my name and business cards going to everybody. My church family trying to buy popcorn. It paid off, but we got a lot of support from family.
So that's what I feel like when you really support.
Yeah. That's it. Community. And word of mouth. When people found out what we were doing. It was exciting to some people. People used to pray for it. We did have colors, do all different kinds of things. Yeah. I don't know. The taste and the colors was the add-on. to encouraging people to purchase. So that's what I got.
Also, did you make any mistakes while you started your business, or any hard obstacles you had to go through?
Yeah, I think everybody makes mistakes in business, but if I had to say the biggest mistake I made was I was so excited and so eager that I probably missed some steps that I should have taken before we started. Like, for a while, I didn't know what I was doing. I was lost. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I liked the idea of popcorn, and I had enough to be able to start a business. It was frustrating at times because I couldn't get where I wanted to be as far as like storefront. And that's the reason why we had a leasing space first, and we could only do shipping and delivery, and no one could really come to us at the time. And my husband was like, it's going to work out. Just kind of pray and hope that it works out. And we kind of stayed in that predicament of not knowing if we're going to get a space for a year. And then that's an important part of having a business. Like, you have to know, where's the money going to come from? I can't just go and put a business up in the middle of nowhere where people are not interested. Yeah, people are not interested in popcorn. I'm not going over here where nobody wants popcorn, So you have to be mindful of where you're going and the audience that you're trying to target when you open up a business.
So that's why you picked this company?
Yeah, that's why I picked this. It's safe. I'm right next to the Roseville Police Department. There are restaurants here, and I also work with a company out of Greensboro called Gold Medal. And they were very, very adamant about not going into certain places because they had seen so many other businesses fail. So what we consider concession businesses. They had seen so many other concession businesses fail. And they were like, one thing you don't know is you don't want a parking lot where there's a grocery store. And I was like, wow, this is the first place I want to go. It's like right next to the grocery store. Yeah. And he was saying, no, you don't do that because when people come to the parking lot, they're going to the grocery store. I mean, when people are rushing, they're still going to the grocery store. Yeah, they're not really thinking about popcorn when they're trying to get groceries to go home. And I didn't really think about that. But they did. Yeah, you got to think about who you're trying to get to buy your stuff. And for me, it was I have to go somewhere where there are going to be a lot of people. Has to be somewhere where people can park. Because if me, if I go to a place and there's no parking, I don't really want to be there. And I'm not walking hard. So you have to be mindful of a lot of things, especially what's going to be convenient for your customers. And that's what I
what is one measure of business for this?
For me, it's going to be like, I don't know, for me, it's more like, I feel successful because I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying myself. And I think same thing for being wealthy. Like, money is a big part of it. But if you're wealthy and happy, what's the point of being over? Yeah, you got to do something you really like. And I really, really like popcorn. I really like the idea of incorporating colors and making people's parties pop and all kinds of things. Incorporating people's personal feelings into a guest gift, I like that kind of stuff. And so that to me is what made me feel successful. One, I have an amazing support system, but two, I still have the opportunity to do something that I really like.
Are there any resources that you recommend for people who are watching?
Yeah. So definitely we talked earlier about the Carolina Small Business. We were talking about the Carolina Small Business Development Center, an innovation and entrepreneurship center downtown Raleigh. They have a lot of resources. They have a lot of nonprofit resources. They have a lot of people there that can guide you in the right direction. A lot of people, I want to say the workshops they have. So they provide a lot of different types of workshops. You really just have to get there and find out what they provide and how that can be beneficial to you and your efforts to be an entrepreneur.
And are these workshops, do they cost or are they free?
The ones I've been to have been free. I have not been to one yet that's cost me anything. All of them have been free. But that's definitely something to look into. And I feel like most of the workshops there are free because it's a business center. So I don't think there's a payment, but if there is, you can definitely contact them to find out what it is.
What obstacles did you face that you believe were directly connected to being African American?
Sometimes I still think I face them now. It's when you think, and I teach my students this all the time, but when you think of business, you don't really think of African Americans. we are in business. We're trying to get into business, but it's like an obstacle for us to be able to get in the door for business. And unfortunately, it's just because of who we are, it makes it tough. For us to be able to, and I wonder too, and I used to think about this all the time, it's probably just being paranoid, but I used to think like when I went to a bank, what would the bank say? Would they laugh at me if I came in and asked for a business loan? Because how serious are they going to take me if they don't know me? And sometimes it's not, what you know is who you know. And if you don't know somebody there, it makes it even more difficult. So yeah, as an African American, I feel like there are some obstacles that I face, and I'm still going to face. Because believe it or not, everybody's not on the same page. We go to businesses and we shop at businesses that might be ran by Caucasians all the time. Sometimes we don't even know if they're ran by Caucasians. We just shop there because it's kind of what everybody else does. Yeah, that's what everybody does, but it makes it harder when people know directly. And it's a hide behind that a little bit too, and not tell people don't tell them you're African American kind of thing. It's not important, right? But it's definitely important, and people will see it, and it's nothing to hide. Be proud of who you are, but just know that there are going to be obstacles because you're different. That's just the society. Unfortunately, that's the society that we live in.
Do you think it's the same for African American females as well?
Yeah, we struggle even harder. I think we struggle even harder. Sometimes I feel like we might be taken more seriously because we're women. It might be harder for an African American male, but at the same time, I think being a woman, we're still minority, and we're still going to face obstacles because we're Black women. Period. But that's why I think we should all rally together. Like, I think we should stop. I think one thing that really bothers me about Black women sometimes is we compete with each other so hard that we can't help each other get up.
Right.
And if we're not helping each other get up, nobody else is going to come and lift us up to say, oh, Black women, get up. No, it's not work like that. So I try to rally around other Black women who have small businesses too and put all of us on the same page. I mean, and even if we are in competition, there's so much money to be made that we don't have to compete. And you get your little small portion of money and I get my little small portion.
Come together.
Let's come together as a community. Like, there's so much to be made if we would all just come together. So I definitely support other Black businesses, other Black women and Black men who have businesses, to make sure that we're rallying together so we can support each other.
And our last question, do you have any advice, anything that you would like to tell people that are watching?
Don't be afraid to fail. I think that was the biggest thing for me is I always used to wonder, like, I want to start a business, but if I fail, what are people going to think? What are people going to think about me? I even thought about that too when I was when we were selling our house. Like, we had a nice house, and I was like, let's sell it. And then my husband, he was more, he was adamant about it, more adamant than I was, because I wasn't really wanting to, because I didn't want people to think that he could not afford a house. But I told you, that I told you so method coming from other people. I told you so. You couldn't do that. But I didn't want people to feel that way. And that's the same thing about the business. Like, I was totally afraid, and I was willing to stay in that lease space for a whole nother year, or to choose another space that was halfway convenient because I was afraid to fail. But my husband was like, no, we're not worried about failing, and my friends all the time, my friends own businesses too. I have a really, really good friend, one of my best friends from college. Her name is Shamika Rose out of Charlotte. And she opened up a company. It's called Love Balinese. And I was like, man, that's fine. Like, she took her mindset and she made it work. And I was like, that's what you need to rally around. Other people who are doing the same exact things you're trying to do. We support each other constantly. She's in my circle. I'm in her circle. We have other friends, girlfriends that are also in the same circle. I have friends out of Durham who run businesses, wedding planning friends, and event planning friends. Who else? Just a lot of people who are not afraid to fail. I have a friend who's in this area, and he's going back to Greenville and helping his family get businesses off the ground. Like, we really have to rally around each other. And I think the biggest thing for me is, step out on faith. Like, what's going to happen if you fail? Nothing's going to happen. You're going to wake up tomorrow, right? You're going to get up, dust yourself off, and go get another business. And that's how the mindset that I have about having a business is, not just going to focus. This is not this is staying. But if I open up something else and this fails, I'm good with it because I've done it. I've already did it. It's already happened. It's not going to be that big of a deal if I fail. It's just going to be getting another business dust me off. At least now I know what I need to do before I start. So I always take it as a trial run. This is a trial run for me. And failing is okay. And that's hard. I know that sounds really weird, but failing is okay. It's totally okay to fall on your face and get back up and bruise your wounds and everything, bang yourself off, and then get up and try it again. Now next time you know exactly what you cannot do is fall the bite. You get back on, you don't do that anymore. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.